Today we're going to be giving you a closer look at these dimmable motion sensor lights for under cabinets from Cefrank.
Alright, so in the package you get 3 long lights, really thin lights, LED, and they're all pretty much the same except for one guy has the, says it's the input end, and it has the sensor there so that it can go on and off. There's a couple things that we'll talk about as we go on here. But it does come with some mounting stuff. You can do it one of two ways. Some 3M tape, or if you got any other something like 3M, or if you wanted to really put it on there, you got these little clips that get screwed on, and it does come with screws. So you screw up on the bottom of your cabinet or wherever you're putting it, and then they slide in here and clip in. And then they'll stay up there pretty good, and you usually got to pry that out. So I'm going to leave that in there for now, because it's not easy to get out. But you get a bunch of those, a bunch of 3Ms, and then also a bunch of these cable hiders. The cable gets slid into there, and this gets 3M, has 3M tape on the back of that, and it goes up there, and it helps you to hide the wires, which is pretty nice. And then the wires you get are not very big or long or anything like that, but you get 2 wires of these, and they're going to plug in each light to another light. So you get 2 of those, and that way you can splice them all together. And then you have the plug as well. I wish this cable was a little bit longer so you can route it around if you needed to. And then this guy here just plugs into the end, and he goes into a small one where he would plug into the master unit, which is right here. So let's plug them in and show you what it's like, and I'll show you some workarounds if you want to do different applications that I found. I started putting these under my cabinet, but it really can go anywhere, like a bookshelf or anything like that that has some motion. You need lights or whatever. But
Closet.
What's kind of nice about this is that when you plug it into the controller unit, you get that blue light. It's not really a motion sensor light. I mean, it is, but it works in two ways here. So if it senses motion, the light comes on. I have 2 plugged in. They're really bright, by the way. They are dimmable, but I don't have it on a dimmer switch. That I know of, I looked all over. I don't see a way to dim it.
Hold your hand over it.
Oh, there you go. See, it didn't clearly say that in the instructions. Either that, or I read over it.
No, it doesn't say in instructions,
Okay.
but on the product page it does say that you can hold your hand over to dim and to make brighter.
So that's really cool, actually.
You either read the product page carefully or you figure it out when you have your hand underneath it.
Yeah, because it didn't clearly say that in the instructions, unless I breezed over it when I was reading them. But there you go. So they do dim. There you go. They do dim. So anyway, that I could tell these aren't going off if it doesn't sense motion again, but it does go off when there's a clear motion sense over the motion sensor, like that. So
you have to make an effort.
it would simulate like a door opening. So that'll be good for inside a cabinet or inside a china case or anything like that, where you open the door, it senses that, and the lights come on, right? And then you close the door, it senses that, lights go off, right? So I like them underneath the cabinet, and I have lights that are on top of my cabinets that are on a motion, or not a motion sensor, but a timer, which is kind of what I like. So what I noticed is if you unplug off of the main switch and you plug into the any other one that's not the main controller, the lights will just turn on. Now, you're going to lose your dimmer probably. Yep. You're going to lose your dimmer. You see the blue light, it still works on, off, but obviously it's not turning on and off the light, right? So you're going to lose your dimmer as well, but the light's going to stay on at full blast, obviously.
That's nice that you are not necessarily, don't have to have that on-off motion. You can change it.
Right, so, and that's why I kind of like this way, because when my timer goes off, when my timer goes on, my lights come on, and these are going to be on, and when my timer goes off, the lights are going to go off. Now, obviously, I'm not going to have the dimmer, but, you know, they're under the cabinet, and having them underneath my cabinet, the bright is what's nice anyway. Mm-hmm. So I won't be too sad in losing the dimmer portion of it, because honestly, I didn't even know it was there until right now. So it's a good thing I didn't read the product page. I was reading the instructions. My wife read the product page. So there you go. So that's a workaround if you want the lights to come on using a controller that you have itself, a timer that you have yourself. But also if you want it to be in a china cabinet or something like that, a bookshelf that you need it to go on and off and not stay on all the time. There you go. You have that motion sensor where you plug into the main controller unit, door opens, lights go on, door closes, lights go off. Mm-hmm. So these are really nice. They all work. I didn't plug in that third guy.
They're definitely low profile too, as you can tell. So you put it underneath a shelf or something, it's not humongous and sticking out. You know, it's really, really level. Most cabinets and stuff are going to have a little bit of lip, so it's covered.
Yeah, what's really nice is they're really slim, right? So when you put them under your cabinet, if you do, usually cabinets have a little lip there, and this hides very well underneath that. You're not going to see them. What's also nice is they come with the clips to hold your wiring so that the wire is not going to hang down, and they'll just clip in there and hold that up against the bottom of the cabinet, which is really nice. It's a really good thought process. They give you everything you need. Mm-hmm. I feel the wires are way long enough to get underneath the cabinets where you want them. I just wish the power cable was a little bit longer. I've fished mine through my cabinets that go up to the top and then come fishing down. So that's just not long enough for me. So I wish there was a little bit longer on that. But, I mean, it is still pretty long, depending on your application.
Right.
And you can always buy different ones of these. This is pretty generic. It's a 12-volt output, 1.5 amps. So it's pretty generic. You can go buy one of these if you need a longer one, or maybe even an extension. I think you might be able to buy extensions. I'm not entirely sure about that. But it's a pretty generic one. So I'm sure you'll be able to work with what you have here or get something for cheap that'll help you work in your application. But it's really nice that you've got two abilities to have always on if you wanted to, the way I showed you, or to have the on off when you open, shut the door, or swipe your hand underneath it.
Yeah, and you can definitely plug these into a timer like Jeff was saying, or you can just have that switch available that you plug them in and they're just going to be on until you unplug it. Or you can do the hand motion sensor, which the nice thing about that is holding that hand steady, you're able to dim it and adjust the lighting. The one time that may be a problem is if you've got it like in a working space underneath your cabinet where you constantly have your hand sitting there while you're doing something, you're going to be dimming the lights on and off. But most of the time, if it's a cabinet, it's recessed back and people don't work and chop vegetables and stuff directly underneath their cabinets. So it's a nice option. And what I love about it is that you don't necessarily have to be controlled by that motion sensor. You can choose to do it other ways, as Jeff explained. So really nice lights. Comes with a lot of pieces. Because those pieces are so long, it is nice that there's those clips. So if you have extra cord that's bunched up because you're not stretching them out that long, you've got those clips to help you hide and conceal them. So really thought out as far as the mounting materials go. Low profile, nice, bright lighting. And that's been your closer look at these dimmable motion sensor lights from Cefrank.